Hey everybody, welcome back. So in the previous video we looked at creating objects using the Object.create method, and we also looked at property descriptors and what that does for us with ECMAScript 5. What I want to cover in this video is something called extensibility. Now in JavaScript, when you create an object, you can actually add more functions and more properties to that object even after it's been created. So for example, if I was to come over here and for example I'll just start with use strict like so, and let's say I had an object called extended object, right? We'll call it that, and this is equal to Object.create, and we'll create a blank blank literal to work off to start off with, and then inside of here we'll create our property descriptor. So we'll have something like name, and this will have a value of, let's say, actually I'll get rid of the quotes on some value. We'll say Daryl, and we'll make it writable. Oops. And we'll also make it configurable, okay? Now that's all well and good. At this point, we've just created an object which has a name property on it that we can rewrite and we can configure. However, with property descriptors, we don't control the extensibility of an object. So for example, if I want to come in and I want to create a new property, just say, let's say extended object dot is good is equal to true, we can actually do this, okay? Now, that's all well and good probably for most scenarios, but in a lot of scenarios, you probably don't want people manipulating the object that you're passing across from function to function or from wherever, okay? You might want an object that you just want people to read but not manipulate. And there could be a number of reasons for that. It could be that you've got the properties and functions you want already, but you don't want them to add extra stuff because you might be serializing it to a database or something of that nature, right? So in the case of this, we don't actually prevent extensibility at this point. So if I was to serialize this and send it over the wire, I would actually get as good as one of the properties that goes across the wire. So, what if I don't want that? What if I want to prevent somebody from doing that? How do I actually do this? Well, in ECMAScript 5, what we have is something called preventExtensions. And it's actually a static method on the object class, and its role is to take in an input or an input object and say, make this non-extensible. And what that means is we can't add anything new. Okay, so just to show you how to write that, we can do something like var non-extensible or non-extended. Let's say non-extended equals Object.create, and once again off our literal objects, and we'll create a property descriptor very similar to the top here. In fact, we can make it almost the same. We'll just pretty much copy and paste, and maybe I'll just change the default value. So I'll make this, I don't know, egg, for example. Now, again, at this stage, this is still extensible. We can extend, we can add new properties like we can here. So just to show you that that's actually true, I can go non-extended, and that should be object dot is good is equal to true. Okay, so if I'm just going to rename my variable here and save, and if I come over and I run this, so I just go node prevent extensions, you'll see there's no issue, right? Nothing crashed. So at this point we are not making this non-extensible, right? We can still extend it with whatever we like. So how do we go about preventing this kind of thing from happening? Well, we call a method on the object. Right, so it's Object.preventExtensions. And inside of here, we pass the object we want to not have extended. So we go non-extended object in this case. Okay. And if I save that and I roll back over, if I run the code now, we get an error. Okay, and the error is because we've tried to add a new property. We've tried to extend the behavior of what is already there. Okay. And now that we've said we're preventing that from happening, we get a crash. So that's desired behavior. Okay? So that means that we can never have a situation now where we're adding properties to objects that may not need to be on that object when we serialize it to a server or something. So that's how you can kind of see it, and that's pretty cool. Okay? So that means I have to comment this out. I can't use it. That literally will never work from here onwards. Now, if you want to quickly check to see if an object is extensible or has been prevented from being extended, you can use a function which will log out, is Object.isExtensible. Right? And what this method will do is it will take in an object. So we can go non-extended object here, and basically it will print out true or false. Okay. So if I now go and run this code, I'll just clear the screen and run this again. You will see we get the value of false. Right? We get the value of false because we are not allowing this to be extended. We're preventing the extension in the first place. If I come in underneath this one and then go, we're going to use the extended object, this is going to return true because we are not preventing this object from being extended. And just to confirm that, we run the code, and you can see the second value is in fact true. Now, just to give you an idea of what extensibility is, it's basically any new properties. So if you want to modify any existing properties, such as updating the value of a property or you're deleting the property from the object, this is still acceptable. Okay, so I can come down here and I can go non-extended object dot name, for example, and we'll change it to John. Okay, and I can console.log out, the non-extended object.name, and in fact you'll see that it's changed. I'll also add this same log before the change. Right, so if I save this, this should still work. And you can see it was egg before, and then it changes to John. Now this works because this is not actually extensibility. You're not extending the behavior or doing anything different. You're just configuring, which I've set to true up here, right? You're configuring the value of that property again. So just remember that distinction from the previous video when we were talking about changing the value of one of the properties or methods inside of here. It would check this configurable setting, okay? Or the writable setting as well. So this writable, in this case, means I can write to this. So if I, for example, came up here now, and this is not really the point of the exercise, if I came up here now and went like that, you would get the crash because we've made it read-only. The configurable is more about resetting what the intentions of the name property would be. So it'd be creating that property definition, okay? So you can still get away with things like that. You can get away with deleting. So if I want to delete the non-extended object.name like so, this will also work because again, we've made it configurable. So we're saying we can actually delete it because it's configurable. Again, not really the main point of the exercise, but just to give you an idea that, you know, this extensibility is only for new properties, and that's it. You know, so it's not designed for any properties that currently exist, and that anything else, any functions, anything that's inherited, all that kind of stuff will still remain. It's only if you try and add anything new to the object, it will say, no, no good, we're not dealing with it. So that's all I wanted to show in this video. In the next video, we will look at something called sealed, and basically how does that work in terms of, you know, the behavior of your objects in ECMAScript 5. So I'll see you then.